paperwork related to those settlements. Once we've done so, those particular cases will be dismissed. The terms and amounts of the settlements are confidential. We won't comment further on the settlements or those cases. So those are the specifics here. Now we bring in Dan Graziano. Dan, and so from the perspective of the National Football League, with this very significant development, 20 of the 24 cases being settled, how, if at all, should we expect that to impact what happens next?
Well, the NFL came out very quickly yesterday with a statement that said, don't expect that it has no impact on the collectively bargained discipline process. And that phrase, collectively bargained, is the one to pay attention to, because the league has tried to stress this point. Under the new collective bargaining agreement signed 2 years ago, there is a jointly appointed discipline officer by the NFL and the NFL Players Association. So what will happen now, and I think it'll probably happen soon, the league's investigation will conclude and they'll make a recommendation of discipline, whether it's a fine, whether it's a suspension, whether it's both. And then that recommendation will go in front of former U.S. District Judge Sue L. Robinson, who is the jointly appointed discipline officer. She will have a hearing. She will likely talk to Watson and other witnesses and then make a decision about whether the league's proposed discipline is justified. The NFLPA and Watson's attorneys will contest this case in front of her and argue for a reduction in the discipline. This is the first such case since the new CBA was signed. Because of that, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to determine what the timetable is for a final outcome here, even if the league announces its proposed punishment in the next couple of days.
I think that's a really important point for the viewers who have not been following that side of it, because it's not the kind of thing that football fans would generally be concerned with. But there's the NFL's decision, there's a timetable on that, and then there's an entirely different procedure that will then begin to take place. So if a football fan were to say, is it reasonable to expect that this could not be decided by the time training camp begins? There is at least a possibility of that, right?
Absolutely, there's a possibility of that, because we don't know the timetable for how the discipline officer will act. In the CBA, it says the decision from the league has to come at least 10 days before her scheduled hearing. So once the league makes an announcement, that hearing by the discipline officer would begin 10 days later, or maybe even later than that. But we just don't know how long she's going to take to make her decision, or what she'll base it on in terms of precedent, the arguments made in front of her. So as a result of that, we are kind of flying blind here.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.